This is a Tiny Desk sermon. I'm Michael Coffey, and I am the pastor of First English Lutheran Church in Austin, Texas, an ELCA congregation that I'm very proud to serve. And these are my impromptu reflections on a first reading of the text for this coming Sunday. This coming Sunday is the seventh Sunday of Easter, so we're almost near the end of this 50-day celebration of the resurrection. And we hear a story from the Gospel of John. It comes from the 17th chapter in John, which is often known as the high priestly prayer. It's quite a lengthy and, to be honest, at times exasperating chapter to read because the way Jesus goes on in a very complex understanding of his relationship with God the Father and his disciples. I'm only going to read a part of the reading for this Sunday, about the first half of it. It starts at verse 6. Jesus said, "I have made your name known to those whom you gave me from the world. They were yours, and you gave them to me, and they have kept your word. Now they know that everything you have given me is from you. For the words that you gave to me, I have given to them, and they have received them, and know in truth that I came from you, and they have believed that you sent me. I am asking on their behalf. I am not asking on behalf of the world, but on behalf of those whom you gave me, because they are yours. All mine are yours, and yours are mine, and I have been glorified in them. And now I am no longer in the world, but they are in the world, and I am coming to you. Holy Father, protect them in your name that you have given me, so that they may be one as we are one." It goes on for there quite a bit about Jesus praying for protection for his followers. I want to think a little bit about this reading, about two things, about the prayer that they may be one as we are one, and the prayer for about how Jesus is not in the world anymore, but his disciples are. What does that mean? This prayer for unity among the disciples, unity with Jesus and with God, is a very important understanding of who Jesus' disciples, who the church is, and who Jesus is with God, but it can easily be misused. Prayers for unity can often be an attempt by the majority to force uniformity among the minority. Think about all the ways in our lives where those who are the majority, those who are in control or in power, try to get the people who are different, who are a subgroup, who are a minority, to be more like them. And to do that, there are calls for unity. But those calls for unity are really calls for uniformity. And that just creates further oppression by claiming unity is the goal. So here, Jesus is praying something very interesting. He prays that they may be one as you and I are one. He prays to God the Father. Well, what does that mean, that Jesus and the Father are one? It's a very important theme in John's Gospel. It's very clear that Jesus is the incarnation of the Word, that Jesus is that expression of God in human flesh. But yet, there's distinction. There's difference. You might recall those Trinitarian diagrams that have Father, Son, and Spirit, and God, and says, the Father is God, but the Father is not the Son, and same thing with the Son and the Spirit. Well, that's kind of what's going on here. The unity of Jesus and the Father is not uniformity. It is not a oneness that reduces the two parts, or in Trinitarian thought, the three parts. It preserves the difference. So for Jesus' disciples to be one as Jesus and the Father are one is a unity that preserves the difference. Each one of us is our own way of expressing the image of God. And in Christ, each one of us is our own way of being the incarnate love of God. But that comes with a preserved difference. It's unity without uniformity. It's very important for us to hear that today, because there's a lot of attempts to keep forcing uniformity. That, for instance, in white culture, we evaluate other cultures, other peoples, based on how much they are like or dislike white people, white culture. And that basically comes out of a framework of privilege and a framework of normal that is defined only in one way. And we have to be willing to give that up. And unity cannot be an excuse for forcing that on people. We do this right now in the church politically. We have a hard time being united with that uniformity. We haven't learned very well right now how to be together in difference. And we need to take this call seriously. It has something to do with an essential character of God and of Jesus and the gospel. And then Jesus talks about being no longer in the world, but the disciples are in the world. Now, the world talk in John's gospel can get a little confusing. Jesus is not talking about creation per se here in John's gospel. It's about the world as it is ordered and shaped by human will. And most often, human will in opposition to God's will. And what is that human will? Well, it's that unity comes with uniformity, that difference is eliminated. And God's creation is, in fact, a beautifully diverse thing, and humanity reflects that. So, to be in the world as people in Christ is to love and preserve the difference. So, how right now are we in the church called to love and preserve difference, claim unity in Christ that does not depend on uniformity, and celebrate that difference is the way we actually encounter God? Peace be with you.